Hey YouTube! So, out in the car again today. Welcome to Trade Tuesday. It's Monday, but I'll be putting it out on Tuesday. So I've got quite a few things to do today actually. Kind of get to the point I might not actually get through all of them. So I am on my way. I am picking up I think it's a Jackson Flying V. My pal Alan, good pal Alan, he got me into baby metal forever in his debt. When I say got me into baby metal, I meant he got me into the baby metal concert. I was already into the band. He's wanted me to swap the pickups out in the neck. I think he bought a pickup called a Metal Machine. Yeah, cool. So I'm going to go and pick that up, and then I'm off to pick up a couple of West Tone Panteras for my Trade Tuesday. I've not yet worked out the sums on how it works in, but I did. Basically, I'm using the money I sold a Sakai guitar, which is like a wee Japanese sort of. It looked a wee bit like a Mosrite top 10 or top 20 guitar. You know, they came with millions of brands on it. I sold that, and I sold the Encore with the 25 sound switch in it, which is kind of with the money I'm using to buy these two West Tones. Now these West Tone Panteras are a funny one. You don't see very many of them about. I remember looking them up. I remember there being one for sale in bits in a guitar shop in Glasgow, but it was on Gumtree, I think. No, must have been on eBay, but it was a guitar shop that was putting it on, and it was a Pantera, and from memory I think the neck was snapped. It was missing its bridge, and it had lots of issues, and I was thinking that's the sort of guitar I would love to pick up for 50 quid. So I was watching it, and I think it ended up going for like 200 quid, even though it like a snapped neck. You know, it's like, I remember thinking, whoa, I didn't expect that. So I bought two. I've been watching these for the last couple of months on eBay. The guy seems like maybe he's just grumpy, but he's very. They're on eBay. Two of them. Very, very little description. You know, half a dozen blurry photos. They look absolutely manky, the two of them. And it said that the description consisted mainly of him complaining about how he doesn't want to wait in for couriers and he can't post it, and he got bad feedback before by somebody who won the bid, and then afterwards said, right, when can you post it? And he was like, no, it says no postage in massive letters. So he refunded the guy's money and then got negative feedback, and apparently that happened a couple of times. So I mean, I understand how you can get cheesed off with eBay, because you are kinda, one of the reasons I much prefer selling stuff on Facebook Marketplace. It's just like somebody comes round, buys a guitar, you've got the money, no hidden fees, no, you know, complaints and cases and all this stuff, which you do occasionally. I'm saying that the last half dozen guitars I've sold have been fine. It's just occasionally you do have on eBay, there is a sort of a buyer's privilege, if you want to call it that, where basically you can buy anything. Well, I don't know how that works now we're not in the EU. Fantastic Brexit. Yay. But so basically I buy a guitar, a couple hundred quid, whatever, and then I get it, and then it's not quite the right shade of blue. You know, that's all it needs to be, or I just don't like it, and then you're fully entitled to a full refund and all this stuff. And it's just, when people take the mickey out of it, it's kind of quite easy, and I think there are people who do that as a, you know, they just do it anyway because they can. My pal's brother did that one time. Remember my pal was talking about it. I'm not going to name him, but he was like, I don't want to tell you this, Malcolm. I was like, I'm your wise, like, you hate it. He was talking to his brother, and then he bought, I think this is going back 10 years or something like that. I think it was the Aliens box set DVDs or something like that, and he bought them for, I don't know, 20 quid or whatever, and he got it, was perfectly happy with it, got them for a good price, and he thought, well, so I emailed the guy and said, oh, I'm not happy with it, paying £20. I thought, I don't think it's worth this much. Can I give me a £5 refund, or I'll, you know, or you've got to pay the postage to get it returned, blah 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 blah. And he was so proud of the fact, he's like, you can just do that with everything, you know, it's great on the internet, you know, you just is it going to be worth their while? Whoever it is on the other end, are they going to go, oh God, just give them the £5? Or do they have to sort out a return envelope and pay for the postage and all this stuff and end up being down? For me, that's incredibly dishonest, and I would never do that ever. It's obviously sometimes it works as a, you know, it's a safety net, because I mean, you could buy a guitar described as fine, you get it, and it's got a hideous problem that the seller didn't know about. So you're covered, you know what I mean? Just doing it on principle, I don't like. Yeah, so Westtone Pantera, 1987, they were, as far as I'm aware, they're the last Matsumoku guitars ever made in Japan, before the factory shut down. Didn't burn down like you could read on the internet. Lots of information on the internet's not true about the Japanese guitar factories. A lot of the information comes from the very start of the internet. It's like, you know, you're looking at posts that are 15, 20 years old that have some information where someone goes, I reckon what happened was, and then that just over the last 20 years has just been, every time anyone searched for it, that's come up, and then that information has just been Chinese whispered on and on. So it started off wrong. There's a lot of things like that. There's a big one with Washburn guitars in Matsumoku, because according to the guy who owns Yamaki, who built the Washburns, Matsumoku never made a Washburn ever. They didn't get on with the factory or something. So even if you look online, I mean, I've had it, I get it on my Washburn page all the time. Go up here, I think you'll find this Matsumoku, and I'm like, no, it's not. And then they send me the link, the same link, the one that's run from this link that's 20 years old, that somebody said it's Matsumoku, and that's just stayed. So that's wrong. So Matsumoku, kind of funny looking ones. There's 2 of them and 1 hard case. So I'm thinking what I'm going to do is, they're almost at the price where I think I might very nearly be able to buy the 2 of them, fix one of them up and sell them and get enough money to get the other one free. Almost. I'm not sure it will quite work that way. I'm paying quite a lot. I'm paying kind of more than I ever pay for a guitar, but I'm buying 2, so it works out okay. Yeah, so that'll be fun. And then I'm going to see my pal Scott, who has a Taylor acoustic, and I think he's a guitar tech, but he doesn't do wiring, and he's set up this Taylor, and there's something wrong with the pickup system in it, so I said I would have a look at it. Also means I get to go and see my pal anyway, and all this is kind of well worked out to be in a circuit. Yeah, so I'm thinking there might be a bit of a different video coming. I don't think it'll be in this one, the Trade Tuesday one, but I might, he's got a lot of guitars, you know, a lot of very expensive ones as well, so I'm thinking I might, I've got the camera with me, so I might set it up and do a wee sort of show and tell video. I've not really thought about this, how to do it yet, but basically me sitting there and him handing me lots of guitars, like 10 or something like that, you know, and I'll just sort of describe them, just like kind of like, I suppose it's kind of like going to, or just a quick run through of somebody else's collection. Quite interesting. Some of them you'll have seen before because I've wired them, but he's got some really interesting ones. He's recently been buying, got a couple of Ibanez, like was it a Team J Craft RG, which, again, to be fair, it just looks like a normal RG, but I mean, it plays itself. You just look at it and it starts going diddle, 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 diddle. Pretty amazing. Yeah, so that's me. I'm just here in, is this called Blochairn, where my pal works. We'll take a quick detour. It's only a couple of minutes out my way to pick up this Flying V. I've also got another pal. It's just that I've got too many things on today. I don't think I'll make it to him. He's a huge Muse fan. I don't know if you remember, I did a video a while ago when he had I think he calls it the Matocaster. It's a sort of Manson, kind of like a Telecaster-y type guitar. The one that the guy from, I assume his name's Matt something, I don't know actually. I should know what his name is, Matt something. From Muse guitar. It had a blue light all the way around it. That just interfered with the pickups and just went whenever you turned it on. So he's got that guitar, and he's I've stuck pliers and stuff in it before, push pull, kill switches and things like that. and he's bought a sustainer, which is quite interesting. He's bought one which I think quite interesting. He's not bought the Fernandez sustainer. There's a guy in Indonesia who makes them himself, and he's bought one of them, so it'll be interesting to see how that compares to the Fernandez. The only reason I know anything about a sustainer is because my pal Alex had an Explorer, a Rally Explorer, if you want to look up the video for that, with a sustainer in it, and I was really impressed. I thought it was great. I made it work, so I was really impressed with myself. I think I'm great, but the pedal worked really well, or not the pedal, the sustainer, so I might actually be contacting Alex if I can't make this one work, to borrow that Rally guitar and just copy the wiring. The wiring diagram I've got for it doesn't look, looking at it I don't see how it works, but it might. It's one of those ones I'll maybe connect it up, and I maybe don't necessarily have to know what it's doing or why it works, but just that it does work is maybe enough. Cool, so this is me at my pal's work. I'll just do it without breaking my... Right, so stage 1 done, picked up Flying V. Pal wants me to put the iron gear metal something pickup into the bridge, and then put the bridge pickup from the Jackson into the neck, and he's been looking up forums and stuff. I'm not 100% sure about how that works, but we'll see what happens. I'll probably put it back when it comes to it. I think one of the problems with never used to get neck and bridge pickups, so it should be alright. I think that my thinking of the problem there is normally because the bridge pickup is much closer to, the strings aren't vibrating as much because they're closer to the bridge. It's not, generally the bridge, it's obviously it's picking up, it's got less of a sample range of the strings than the neck pickup does. So if you put two identical pickups in the neck pickup will be louder because the string's moving more above it. So I think what he's talking about doing is he's putting in a really powerful pickup in the bridge. So maybe the not quite so powerful pickup that came out the bridge in the neck position will match. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. So I'm now on the motorway, nice day, 14 minutes to get there. That's not too bad, it's going to be within time. I don't want to talk too much of this in case I use up my battery power and memory card too much to actually do any videos when I get to Scott's house. So I will see you if I see anything interesting that's worth looking at. I will turn the video back on again, or maybe just when I've picked up the two Panteras, or not picked up the two Panteras. Depends whether they're good or not. Hey, right, so I'm west toned up. The guy was very nice. I think maybe just he was a bit cheesed off with dealing with eBay, to be honest. I would never have put him as a grump. So apparently he said he used to have 3 of them in the 80s, or he said 30 years ago, 20 years ago, he had 3 of them, and the plan was always to steal all the parts and make one pure amazing one. So they look pretty interesting. Their guitar I've not really seen before. It's got a cool headstock. This one doesn't have a case, the other one's got a case. Nice and heavy, but very much West Tony, sort of like a very obvious evolution from like the Spectrums and stuff, where you're just starting to get into 1987 Super Strats and the things, so they've made this. Really, to be honest, I don't really think it looks like any other guitar, well, apart from the 2 of them. One of them is pink with a single volume control, and the other one's a sort of, I don't even know what you would call that, it's a sort of red around the outside. I don't know. Anyway, so that's me. I'm off to see my pal Scott now, and it was fun getting here because the motorway is new and my sat-nav is ancient. So I was just kind of guessing, and the sat-nav was pretty much just telling me I was driving through fields most of the time. So hopefully to get from here to East Kilbride is not going to be that much of a, not that much of a problem. Don't know. Anyway, but it's again, nice part of the country. I don't think I've ever been here before. Was it Harshaw? Sounds very English place, but and it's like, I think something to do with apparently I should probably have gone that way. So going this way now. I'll get there. I'm sure Scott won't mind if I'm a bit later than I said I was going to be. He wasn't doing anything anyway. He's pretty much doing what I'm doing. He's kind of living the life of a hermit just now. This is the guy I went to see last month, a couple of weeks ago even, probably, that was all. And it was just so bizarre actually being in somebody else's house. It was like the first other person's house I'd been in like a year, something like that, you know, actually going in. And that's kind of including, you know, even now, just I met that guy out on his front porch, both masked up and all that. Apparently the 26th this month we're kind of free again, but I don't know. I still think it's the definite sensible approach is to still wear masks all the time and all that stuff, just to try and minimise whatever risk there is of spreading this horrendous thing a bit. Rocking, catch you later. Staying there. I'm filming just now because the street lights, so you might actually see me, maybe a little bit. Yeah, so I got the West Tones, went round to my pal's house and to pick up a Taylor acoustic. There's something dodgy with the electric, so I'm going to have a look at that. Ended up acquiring another guitar, so it's quite a successful Trade Tuesday, even though it's Monday, although it's not far away from Tuesday, to be honest. It got to the point where I was starting to get really hungry, and then it's Scott's like, I'm getting hungry, do you want to stay for dinner? I was like, I should probably get back, and it was 8 o'clock. It's like, no wonder I was hungry. So we got a Chinese, and I ended up staying, and it's now like 11 o'clock. When you get talking guitar, especially with someone else who's as mad as me, it's like, went through it. I actually had an attempt to try and do a wee sort of shows your collection video, but I'm not sure it worked. Might need to do it, might need to go back and do it again at some point. He talked an awful lot in the video, and he wasn't in the video, which made it quite difficult, so I should really set it more like a TV chat show, I think, rather than looking at me playing a guitar, talking to someone off camera about said guitar. But it should be fun. But I mean, the West Tones look really good. One of them looks to have been, it looks like it used to be like a candy apple red, and I thought it had a crazy paint job, but really it's someone at some points tried to spray paint the outer edge to make it a sort of orangey red sunburst from the outside into a candy apple red in the middle. And it's like, and they never bothered taking any of the parts off, so it's like there's red spray paint all over everything. So that one's going to be a wee bit of a doer-upper. And the pink one, it looks really nice. I can't believe how I've been looking at these guitars for a couple of times. It was on eBay and then it got pulled. That was on eBay and didn't sell. That was eBay and didn't sell. And that whole time I never realised that what I was bidding on was a pink Pantera, which is very nearly the Pink Panther. So it's got a name, should it be getting kept. It's kind of looking like it might. It's really, it looks pretty nice though. Just unloved really for the last sort of decade. The frets on it are all green. I'll show you them. I'll probably get up tomorrow morning, tack on a little bit of what I picked up. Also picked up a, which might fit in better to the Trade Tuesday, a vintage Zip guitar, which the story behind it is there's an artist, I don't know if you remember before, I wired up a David Bowie guitar. I wired up a couple of David Bowie guitars, the one that actually had like marbles set in it, and a picture of David Bowie on it, and also I believe I did a Frank Zappa one as well, like some artist woman, I'm not really sure where she's from, Scotland somewhere, and she tried to do a Joan Jett thing on this, and something went wrong with the paint. It wouldn't stick to, mix the paint, so it was painted with the wrong stuff, so it kind of looked pretty bad. But apparently it's yellow, the guitar is yellow below the surface, so that could be pretty cool. A Zip is kind of like it's a wee bit like a Les Paul Jr. and it's got 2 single coil pickups. I assume wired as a humbucker in the bridge, like the sort of thing I would do, sticking 2 pickups together to make a humbucker. But it looks really good. So that might be quite a good Trade Tuesday. I could really kind of argue that I swapped that for that Encore 25 sound Strat. So I kind of just get the money from that, bought the Zip. So yeah, it sort of fits into the tradey thing. I really need to get myself another avenue, I think, to try and, well, maybe the Panteras will fit that, although I think it might take me a wee while to get them up and running. I don't know I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to do with them. Yeah, the pink one is sorely tempting to keep it though, because it's really rather nice. It's a sort of sparkly pink, and because it's sparkly pink, same as like my Westone Raider, it's sparkly silver, so it depends what light you shine on it, depends what colour it is. This pink is sparkly, but it kind of looks like a really pinky pink from some angles and a really orangey pink from some other angles, and I'd imagine during the day it's maybe a bluey pink, so that might be quite interesting. Right, almost home. I was out for an awful lot longer. I didn't end up going and, well, I kind of didn't think I was going to manage to make it to Rutherglen to pick up the guitar of Andrew for the Sustainer. I was thinking it might be a wee bit after dinner, but I wasn't expecting it to be 11 o'clock at night. Incidentally, that was the first time I've had Chinese food since I was in China, because when I went to China I was just like, you know, this food's so much better than what we call Chinese food. Okay, getting a bit close to my house, so I don't want you to know where I live. Rock on! Hey YouTube, and I'm back. So it's now Tuesday, so this is Trade Tuesday, so this is the day I'm putting the video out. So Westone Panteras, yes, I've not done enough research on these yet. I know a little bit about them. These were very desirable when they came out. 1986. We've got it's on the neck plate for the age. I've not actually done anything. I did tune this up, but it's still got the original strings. It's still a bit manky. This one has it's been painted around the outside. See, it's a sort of candy apple red in the middle, and it's got this. I wondered what it was. Someone's spray painted it red. I don't know why you would do that. So I've got a wee bit of work on that because they didn't tape off stuff. There's red paint on the knobs and the pickups and on the bridge and stuff. So a good bit of cleaning getting done involved. So yes, these were kind of the last Matsumoku guitars. 1986. I think the last Matsumoku in 1987. I think they finally shut down. So this was kind of a last stab. It's got a very pointy head. It's very cool. Actually, I don't know if you can see it there, but it's kind of rounded there, which I think is really cool. I think this will polish up quite nicely. I don't think that's the original string lock. I think that looks like a Caller one, but the guy did give me in the case. There's another one of these, so I might be able to make something out of it. It's got a Bendmaster Deluxe tremolo, which I think are really good. As again, I'll do proper reviews of these once I've actually had a shot of using them. But it's got kind of rollers on it, and it's got like a hook to put the string under, so you don't need to cut the ball ends off. And apart from that, it looks kind of like a Floyd Rose. 5-way switch. I think that'll be an MMK45 humbucker. It's got a push-pull coil split on the tone control, and this one does actually play. I don't think the bridge pickup's working just now. I think the switch might be broken because it seems to be working. I've not actually tried this. Where's some metal? Where did I find a piece of metal? Oh, right. So is it actually? Yeah. Okay. Some things are going on in there. I've not been inside it. Not working properly, but the pickup appears to be outputting, but when you select it, it's not on. So I think maybe the switch is wrong. But the coil split doesn't seem to be working either, which implies that there's maybe somebody's been in there. I'm kind of almost expected to find, you know, wires that have been sellotaped on type thing. But even without any sort of setup, it's actually playing like a really nice guitar. I'm not really sure how you'd describe the shape of it. It kind of doesn't really look like anything else, I don't think, apart from maybe From the Future. I don't think it looks particularly 80s. It kind of looks like one of your I can't think of a make that would. make it like a sort of custom built, very expensive one-off guitar at £5 type thing. I can see them looking at it. Is it maybe a wee bit like a Warwick bass look somewhere, because it's got like a carved top. What would you call it? It's not flat, it's carved and kind of, yeah. So that's guitar 1, Westone Pantera. When I was yesterday, I didn't manage to do this video when I came back last night because I ended up staying for ages talking to my pal, and I did a wee bit of a deal for probably work quite well for the Trade Tuesday. I bought a vintage zip off him. This is sort of slate metallic on the back, and it's a sort of failed project. It was meant to be painted. It was an art project. My computer doesn't want to show you. Yeah, but apparently there was something wrong with the paint, reacted badly, and the women gave up on it. So I think that's maybe Joan Jett. She loves rock and roll. But apparently this is going to be yellow and below this paint. So if this paint comes off and I can cut it back to looking yellow, this might look pure fantastic. So it's basically like a sort of Les Paul Junior, but it's got 2 single coil pickups that have been taped up, which I'd imagine are probably wired as a humbucker. So it's got like a single humbucker Les Paul. Not sure exactly what to do with that, but the back's so worst case scenario, I've got to paint the top something, but it's nice. It's nice in this metallic stuff around the back, and I hope I've got all the bits for it. That'll be fun. And then I've left the best till last. So that was the Pantera. This one, it's like original Westone case. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Does that even have a? Let's get a key. No, I don't have a key. But, yeah, so I don't know if you can see the cases. Yeah, so this is the one that I kind of wanted. There's the tremolo arm in there as well. So this is the Pink Panther. Yeah, this one is it's pink. Not exactly the same model as that other one. This one's actually got a truss rod. It says X300 on it. The other one, a truss rod cover. The other one, I think the truss rod cover's missing, but this one only has 1 volume control. Doesn't have a tone. It's push-pull for coil split as well. It's also got this pickup, which is half rail, half not a rail. That's got to be good. It's got the same Bandmaster Deluxe tremolo, which I can probably show you better now. If you really see what it's doing. Kind of like a Floyd Rose, apart from it's got rollers on it. And I can't believe I've been looking at this for quite a while. It wasn't until I was talking to Scott last night going like, pass me over the Pink Panther. I didn't realise it's the Pink Panther. But it's just totally the Pink Panther colour. I think it's quite dirty. It looks very different from different angles, the colour. It's like pink, various shades of pink, but I kind of like this one. So I'm not sure exactly what I'm doing with these guitars. Likely sell the red one. I keep the pink one, maybe. It depends, but I don't know, you can't really tell. I can tell that it's awesome. Even in the states they're in, these things haven't been touched for years. I mean, I don't know if you can see the colour of the frets on this. That's not the light hitting off it, they are cloudy green. Also this one's got jumbo frets, whereas the other one has sort of vintage thin frets. I don't think either of them have been refretted. I wonder if maybe this is one. I think one of them was likely to be like an early 1986 one, and the other one's a late 86 one or something like that. I've got all the fun to do with research. Half the fun with all these old guitars I like is looking them up and finding out about them. I looked up on eBay to see if they're ready for sale. None, and there's none in completed listings apart from these two. So I don't know how much these are worth. I think I did okay. Kind of for a collector point, I suppose. I'm pretty sure I overpaid, but I don't know. I don't know what they're worth. I do remember looking these up before and not being that impressed with the shape. I don't think when I started looking at Westones, but they weren't cheap. They definitely weren't as cheap as the Spectrums and stuff. They were definitely 2-3 times the price of them. But I think maybe it just depends who's after them. I do like the headstock. It's pointy and to the point, and I do like the colour and the logo. don't know if you can see there, like what a West Tone logo looks like. See, it's a sort of eagle with a W. This is a very similar sort of design, apart from it's a panther going across a triangle. It's rather cool. Yes, I'm thinking this is quite keepable. Yeah, so that was Trade Tuesday. Back on the run. As I said, I haven't actually managed to trade anything yet, but I did sell the Encore 25 sound Strat, and I pretty much used the money to buy the vintage Zip. So that's going to kind of count. So keep an eye open if any of these take your fancy for swappiness. Rock on. Press the button.